are perceived to be having questionable characters. I think in that context, I must commend you that to say you have not been evasive. You have agreed that you know them. But as a police officer, are you not aware that you are easily accessible by people who have questionable characters? Is that not a concern to you?
Chair, I think if you meet a person or you come across a person who at this point in time, you don't know that this person has got questionable characters or issues that were not really evident from the onset. Like any other normal South Africans, you don't know this person, but later you come to know that this person, this name comes. This thing again, this name comes. That's when you begin to raise your eyebrows and begin to step back. I think it happens naturally that you will meet a person that you think is innocent, is clean, but later you find out about the rest.
No, but even that response is worrisome, General, because you are a police officer. You don't just mingle with anyone. You have an integrity and a credibility to protect. Before you mingle with people, you first investigate their characters. Are you an irresponsible police officer that just mingles with anyone without checking the credibility of such people?
I don't think it's fair, General Chair, that every person that I meet, I must investigate. You do meet people, and you won't have capacity to really conduct a background check on anybody that you meet.
So it means I must be worried, General, that you can come to my village and mingle with criminals and later come and say you did not know their character. So that is the kind of a police officer, the national deputy commissioner we have in South Africa, who just mingles with people and later come and say, no, I did not know their character.
I think, Chair, I've met 98% that is good. But if it happens that you met one or two characters that are actually questionable, cannot take the whole credibility away from me because I spoke to somebody. It happens with all of the police officials, senior managers, ministers, even presidents. It's that you find yourself having spoken to somebody, later that person found himself in trouble. But that shouldn't be brought to your doorstep.
No, but the fact of the matter is that you are a police officer and not just an ordinary police officer. You are a general. You are the national deputy commissioner. For you to have a relationship with people who have questionable characters can never be justified.
It is not correct to say I have a relationship with them as if they were my friends. They were not my friends to an extent that it can be called a relationship with criminals. It's not correct.
But General, when we asked you about the relationship with Brown Mkhwanazi, I think the question was asked by Honorable Ngola. You said he was asking if you are still speaking, if you are speaking with Brown Mkhwanazi. You said you are speaking with him. And he further asked if you are speaking on police issues. You said, no, we are speaking on general issues. What do you mean by general?
If you remember very well, Chair, I said that my relationship or how I got to speak to Brown, he gave me information, valuable information that according to me was valuable to me.
No, but you are contradicting yourself. Remember, you said the information that he gave to you was already in your possession.
Yes.
So how can something that you know be valuable when it comes for the second time? I know that I'm Sibonelo Nomvalo. If you come and tell me that something that I know, it can't be valuable.
Chair, no matter how much you stretch it, The bottom line is, I say I met Brown and he gave me information that I needed, although it was confirming something that I knew, and I see nothing wrong in that regard.
But how can something that you already knew be valuable?
Up until I meet him, I would then here I take it from there.
Let's go to Kat Matlala. Is it true that Kat Matlala paid an amount of 2 million towards the purchase of your plot in St. Kieran in Pretoria?
I don't know, because my plot is procured, is bought through the bank, and there's no 2 million that was paid.
So it's not true.
It's not true.
You said Kat came to your office to discuss about a tender. Did I hear you correctly?
No, you didn't hear me correctly.
Where did you meet up?
I said he came to the office to discuss the issue of the fact that he's been awarded a tender, and then he's got a lease agreement to do to occupy the facility, and then he was not being allowed to occupy the facility. This is the meeting that was intended for the National Commissioner, but the National Commissioner was not there. I was the one acting.
Yeah, but that is what I was saying as well. Now, did you see it appropriate to meet a service provider?
I meet everybody. Even if he's a service provider, he is a stakeholder, but at that time in his capacity, he was more of a complainant.
Who signed his appointment letter? A letter that was appointing him to work for the department.
I don't know whether it's the National Commissioner or supply chain, but I was not part thereof.
Now, why did he not refer that concern to them?
He came
because they are the ones, general. I see a general who's all over the place here, meeting business people. They are the ones who appointed him to work for the department, not you. They are the ones who signed the appointment letter. How does it get to you to speak about a tender?
I don't think it's correct to say to speak about the tender.
Let me just do like this. Honorable Nombalo, let's go easy on the general. When I say easy, I don't mean you must not be robust. You can be robust in any way.
Does it feel in your competence to attend to such issues?
It doesn't feel within my competency as the head of crime detection, but when you are the National Commissioner's post, you deal with everything in the police, and I was acting as the National Commissioner.
Do you know Bonana Mkhwanazi, who is the former Mkhwanazi?
Hey, we have one. You nearly collapsed, dude.
No, we can turn him into a witness. Do you know Mr. Mkhwanazi, who is the former Deputy National Commissioner?
I know her.
What is your relationship with her?
The mother of my child.
Where does she work currently?
I'm not sure.
Did she ever work for a company of Vusmuzi Kat Matlala?
Not at all.
She has never worked for it?
Not at all.
Okay. Let's go to the disbandment of the EKTT. You know where my concern is?
Just hold it, the honorable number. General, you say the person is in question is the mother of your child, and you don't know where she works.
Yes.
Okay.
She's the one who was actually at some point who lost her job. So I don't know where she's working.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't live with me.
Okay. But you okay, no, it's fine. Let me leave it there.
Can I proceed, Chair?
Yes, you can proceed.
Now, you know where my major problem is, General, with regards to your involvement in the disbandment of the political killings task team, is that you were never involved in its operations.
Correct.
Neither did it send any report to you.
Correct.
You have already said that the PKTT was doing a sterling job. During its operation before the disbandment.
I said they were doing a good job, but it could be better than what they're doing.
So they were doing a good job.
But it could be better than what they're doing.
You further said that the reason why they were disbanded is because the budget was not enough. You even cited remarks that were made by the treasurer, by the CFO, I mean, correct?
No, I don't remember saying they were disbanded because the budget was not.
No, I'm saying part of the reasons why they were disbanded.
Yes.
It's because there was no money that could sustain them.
Yes.
But that is not in accordance with the letter of the minister.
Well, I cannot question that part. That is not what the minister said. I didn't dictate nor contribute to what the minister wrote.
No, but General Sibiya, the minister wrote a letter disbanding the task team. You came before this committee and justified his actions. You even quoted what was said by the CFO. You were not just talking for the sake of talking. When you said there was no money to sustain the task team, you were actually supporting the reasons for its disbandment.
Even now, I'm still supporting that, Chair.
Yes, but I'm saying that is not in accordance with what the minister said. The minister never said there was no money in his letter.
I understand that.
The minister, the only reason the minister why he disbanded the team on Annexure CB2, paragraph 53, the minister says, open quote, "My observation in this regard, as indicated above, is that further existence of this team is no longer required, nor is it adding any value to policing in South Africa."
Yes.
Now, should we agree that your perspective is not similar to that of the minister?
I wouldn't say it's not similar. They go hand in hand.
No, remember, General Sibiya, I asked you if the task team was doing a sterling job. You said yes. The view of the minister, when something is of no value, it means that thing is useless. The view of the minister at this stage is that the task team is useless. You further said, no, I'll give you a chance to respond. You further said the CFO indicated financial concerns. So there was no money to sustain the team. So your reasons are not the same.
Remember, I have given more reasons. The minister may not have written all the reasons, or may actually summarize all the reasons in one sentence. But in my case, let me read you this letter from the National Commissioner statement.
No, before we go to let's finish the minister and your version first. I will allow you to read the commissioner statement. The point here that I'm making, General, is that because there is nowhere where we can find the views of the minister in this regard, except in the letter. And we can't quote things we do not know because the minister will come here and say, but I never said that. What I said is here in the letter. Your reasons are not similar to that of the minister. What Why is it so difficult to accept that?
Remember, we don't have different reasons to disband. The minister gave a directive which has been complied upon by all. What I motivated myself comes from me, not from the
Exactly my
minister.
point.
Yes, and then
Yes.
the two are not in competition. with
No,
one
they are not, absolutely.
another. Yes.
But they are not different. Your motivation and his reason.
Yes.
Exactly. Why is it difficult to accept that? Now, your participation in the disbandment starts after the 31st of December, when the National Commissioner was on leave. You keep on citing the name, the National Commissioner, not the name, to say he is the one who gave instructions to do the implementation plan and so on and so forth. But the minister the commissioner that we're talking about here, who refuses that, he accepted this decision, General Masemula. There is absolutely nothing that points to a direction of his acceptance of this decision.
To the contrary, the National Commissioner saying in his statement and a sworn statement at the Madlanga Commission, he says, since the letter required a report to be prepared by the 20th of January 2025, and given that I would be on leave until the 14th of January 2025, I instructed Brigadier Letogo of my office to forward the letter from the minister to all Deputy National Commissioners, including Lieutenant General Sibiya, Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection, to instruct them to prepare the necessary report. My intention was to discuss the matter with the minister to understand his reasons and attempt to dissuade him. However, the letter contained an instruction to prepare a report that were due by 20 January 2025. If I had refused to carry out this instruction, I would have been accused of insubordination, since all that was required, at least insofar as the instruction was concerned, was a report. So now this says, or this tells us that the National Commissioner agreed and he complied with, because had he not done that, he would have been he was going to be accused of insubordination. So the minister, the National Commissioner, for all intents and purposes, he agreed.
No, but you were drawing an inference that he agreed, because you started to make a reference to a January letter, email rather, that was sent from his office by the Chief of Staff. At that time, the commissioner was on leave, right?
Yes.
There was an acting commissioner.
Correct.
So by the time the National Commissioner came, processes of disbanding, leave the implementation apart, because that is another phase. Disbanding is a phase on its own. You can't use what happened on phase 2 to clarify what happened on phase 1. Are you aware of a process that unfolded during the disbandment of the PKK before we go to January?
Yes, I'm aware.
How was it disbanded?
The process that was followed that I know of is the letter that was received from the minister on the 31st of December that was sent to the office of the National Commissioner, and the National Commissioner further forwarding that same letter to my office with a directive that I must communicate same to the team. And the team also started reacting or acting on that, leading to a presentation that was presented before Parliament. And before Parliament, this is where they explained that the test team has achieved the purpose for which it was intended for. All the districts in KZN have stabilized except the eThekwini district. And as a result, we are now going to be phasing out. And in phasing out, we'll start 3 phases. The first phase being to deliver the dockets by the 17th of March, and that happened. And as a result, by the 28th of June of March, a handing over was done between the two divisional commissioners. General Khumalo is the one who went and fetched the docket, handed them over to General Sintumule, as per the arrangement. And then from there, from General Sintumule handed them to General Motsepe. They conducted an inspection, and General Motsepe, they attempted to return the cases to the Provincial Commissioner, General Mkhwanazi, who rejected the docket. The docket found themselves back at head office. But that's the process of disbandment.
Chair, I don't want to be accused of not allowing the witness to respond, but the witness has not done justice to my question, and I hope you were paying attention. The question that I asked from the witness is, what is a process that was followed before the letter was issued on the 31st of December? Now it tells me about what happened after the 31st of December. I'm talking about processes that unfolded before the minister took a decision to disband the team.
Yeah, I give you free airtime for General Sibiya to respond to the question.
The process before that, there was a letter that was received from the members of the community who complained to Professor Mary Dihas of the University of KZN. Professor Mary Dihas forwarded the complaints of members of the public to Parliament and to the minister. And the minister also discussed the process in a management meeting where they consulted with the management in general. It is in this meeting where General Masemola actually intimated that the task team, this was just a task team, it was not meant to be a permanent unit, to an extent that it was meant to evolve into a unit. As a result, it is not in the structure of the police, and yes, it can be done. So the National Commissioner was consulted and all other senior managers, and he never actually showed he never showed to be against the disbandment. And as a result, the process started.
Okay, so General, we are saying here on record under oath that before the decision was taken, because the National Commissioner said the decision was taken while he was on leave in December, and he came back in January. So you are saying here under oath, the National Commissioner was consulted prior to the disbandment of the team. Is that what you are saying?
I'm saying that, Chair, is what I'm repeating here on record under oath, that there was a meeting that was held on the 27th of November, where consultations were made with all stakeholders or all relevant in the presence of the National Commissioner, and the National Commissioner did say that this is just a task team, it was not a permanent structure, and it was meant to evolve into a unit, and it can be done. And starting from then, that's how everything unfolded.
Was Khumalo, who was a project manager?
Before you got the honorable member, because the general mentions the name of Ms. Dihas as part of the response. What do you say about Ms. Dihas?
Professor Mary Dihas wrote a letter to Parliament. I want to get to the correspondence, Chair, and it's very much important that you don't leave it out because it is what happened. Professor Mary Dihas wrote a letter to Cabinet. Do we know which 93? 93. Now, Chair, I've got a trailing email between the offices of Ms. Mtembu of SAPS, sent to Major General Sebola, and then leading to, now when you go to page 96 of the bundle. Chair, will you allow me to read the statement from the members of the complaints that were sent to Professor Mary Diaz, and then Professor Mary Diaz document.
Can I come in as a person who asked the question?
Yeah.
I'm really not interested in the substance. I just wanted to know if the complaint is there.
Okay.
Page
I'm satisfied if the complaint is there. I can move on.
Thank you. You can then go to the question on General Kumar.
Now, the question is, do you see it appropriate to disband a structure without asking for a report from the project manager? General?
No, I'm not stuck. I'm just saying, the question is, do you see it appropriate without requesting for a report from the...
No, I can repeat for you, General.
No, I hear what you say. The answer is very simple. The instruction as it came from the National Commissioner, it said, prepare a close-up report, communicate the same to the team, and prepare a close-up report.
No, General, that's why I wanted to repeat for you, because we are not answering my question. Prepare for a close-out report is in a letter that disbands the task team. I am talking about a process that was supposed to unfold before the disbandment was effected. Do you see it appropriate to disband a structure without getting a report before you disband from a person who was tasked to be a project manager?
Chair, please protect me here, because I'm going to answer the same question. The instruction from the National Commissioner says, DNC, as directed, you are requested to communicate the same to the team and to prepare a close-up report by the 14th of January, and for the minister to get this on the 20th. Now, the close-up report is exactly what the honorable member is talking about, because the close-up report, the only people who can prepare a close-up report is General Khumalo. Even when you go to the meeting on the 6th of March, where General Khumalo presented before the minister, and when you look at the very last sentence, paragraph in the action plan that is actually produced by him, it says prepare the close-up report by the 31st of March. General Kumar, who is the project manager?
Chair?
Yeah.
Can I clarify my question? Maybe you will assist me with interpreting it
You
to the
don't have to
witness.
clarify, General Sibiya.
Yes.
If a member asks you one question 3 or 4 times, you have the same answer. You just give the same answer. Yeah.
Okay.
No, Chair, I think you are making a mistake now, because you are prescribing how he should answer.
No.
And
I'm responding to the point that you are saying he needs protection.
I am the one who needs protection here, Chair, because my question has not been responded to. That is why I'm saying, Chair, it means we are not following my questioning. The question before the general is, was the project manager consulted before the decision was taken to disband the structure? Now he says in a letter, and the letter that he talks about is a letter that disbands the structure. He says in that letter, and I agree, I've read the letter, and what he's talking about is the last paragraph of that letter. After the decision to disband has been communicated on the above paragraph. Now he says in that letter, the minister says, prepare a closeout report. The questioning I'm asking, Chair, is a question that relates to a consultative process prior to making a decision, prior to arriving to a conclusion that indeed there is a need to disband the structure.
I agree with you. After you asked him a question, he appealed to me to protect him.
But
get
I
it?
also appeal to you to protect me, Chair.
Okay, let me protect both of you. Both of you are protected. I'm leveling the playing fields. Can you please restate the question and we hear what his response is?
Should I rephrase?
Restate it.
Okay. My question generally is, before the decision was taken on the 31st of December, in a letter that was signed by the minister. In that letter, the minister disbands. In the same letter, he says prepare a closeout report. So that is after the disbandment. Prepare a closeout report after the disbandment. Now the question is, prior to the disbandment, was a project manager consulted in order for the minister to arrive to a determination that there was a need to disband the task team?
That is a response that can be provided by the minister and the national commissioner.
At least that response is better than the first one, Chair. Was General Mkhwanazi disbanded? Informed?
I don't know.
The provincial commissioner?
I don't know.
Should we not be worried here, General, that you become so active in executing a wrong decision? Because you came after the decision was taken, and the manner in which the decision was taken was wrong because due processes were not followed. Should we not be worried?
I don't think so. The same way the National Commissioner mentioned in his statement here that had he not carried out the instruction, was going to be disciplined for insubordination. Now, in this case, if it is the Office of the National Commissioner that invites me into the process, there's no way I could not participate after being ordered by the Office of the National Commissioner to participate. I didn't jump in on my own. I was invited in and directed by the Office of the National Commissioner.
May you please be specific that at that time when that instruction was given, the National Commissioner was on leave. So in office, there was an acting National Commissioner.
Chair, I don't know if I'm allowed to respond like this. That doesn't change anything. If the National Commissioner is on leave, as the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, he remains responsible and accountable. And if there's an acting National Commissioner, has got the powers to carry out the mandate of the National Commissioner. But the bottom line is, there's a letter that comes from or out of the Office of the National Commissioner directing the Deputy National Commissioner to act. Now, that on its own, it's a complete instruction.
So according to your logic, General, it's permissible for a person to give instructions while he's on leave, while there's someone acting in their office.
It happens.
Then why people are acting if a person can do the work while they're at home?
It happens. If you are the National Commissioner and you think of something that you want happened, you will give an instruction and it will be complied with. Nobody will say, no, but you are on leave, you can't tell us anything.
So are you not worried, General, that there is nothing written or signed rather by the National Commissioner? Because the gist of the bone of contention here centers around a question of acceptance and a question of whether the minister consulted before he took the decision. And the position of the National Commissioner is that he did not accept the decision. That is why I'm saying, when you say the National Commissioner, be specific that at that time the National Commissioner was not in office. So if you received a letter, you did not receive it from Masemula, the current National Commissioner. You received it from a person who was acting at that time. Now, are you not worried that even after the minister came back to work, you gave him a plan and he did not sign it?
Can I return back to the page that I just read, Chair, where the National Commissioner says, I instructed Brigadier Letoko of my office to forward the letter from the minister to all deputy national commissioners. This comes now from the National Commissioner. So the fact that he's on leave falls away.
Which letter is that? May you please refer me to a letter? Which annex?
Now it's Madlanga Commission statement on Masemola, page 34.
I don't have a Madlanga document.
Maybe the evidence leader can assist. But the National Commissioner does accede. He says, I instructed Brigadier Letoko of my office to forward the letters from the minister to all deputy national commissioners, including Lieutenant General Sibiya Crime Detection, to instruct them to prepare the necessary reports. My intention was to discuss the matter with the minister to understand his reasons and attempt to dissuade him. However, the letter contained an instruction to prepare a report that were due by 20th January. If I had refused to carry out instructions, I would have been accused of insubordination. So in other words, the National Commissioner agreed, because he says if he had refused, he was going to be accused of insubordination.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not in possession of that letter. I have an interest of putting my version or my perspective of how I understand it. Unfortunately, I did not make any preparation for such because it is not part of our bundles, Chairperson. Now, do you agree with General Mkhwanazi when he says the disbandment was a missed target?
No.
Can I give you context?
Yes.
He says, in his understanding, the dockets were taken from KZN for the purposes of influencing them for matters of Gauteng. When they arrived in Gauteng, the people who wanted to influence them realized that these are dockets that are only related to matters of KZN, to political killings. So he says the intention to return them back to KZN was as a consequence of the fact that people who took them lost interest out of making a realization that they are not related to Gauteng matters. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree. And I must add that the people of South Africa must begin to realize that this is someone playing with people's mind. He's playing the people of South Africa. This has got nothing to do with the people of Gauteng or KZN. Political killing testing from the onset, it is clear it is KZN related. Now, when the matter has been disbanded, it was disbanded and the process started long before than the 6th of March or when they came to Gauteng. Now, as much as he is trying very hard to bring this political killing task team and throw it into the spanner and saying that we have been disbanded because of this is far-fetched. It's not true, and there's nothing like it is a missed target. He's just trying to bring this thing to look for a motive that he can connect to the criminal underworld. But when you look at all of these case dockets, none of them involve Big Five, Katiso Molefe, Ket Matala, Brown Mohosi, or whoever at all. So all I'm saying, Chair, with respect, is that it is not a missed target, and it shouldn't be accepted that everything that General Mkhwanazi says is true. And these are the statements that are to be put before us as if we must accept that it is true, it's not true.
Are you the one who gave an order for dockets to be removed from KZN to Pretoria?
I gave an instruction that the dockets, the two divisional commissioners must exchange the dockets, and then the divisional commissioner of crime intelligence must hand over the dockets to the one of of detectives, and the one of detectives must take them to their stations, murder and robbery unit where they belong, same time, without taking them to head office.
But where did you get the mandate to do that?
From the National Commissioner's instruction that says, communicate, carry on.
Is there any part in his instruction that says take dockets from KZN to where the dockets were taken?
Yes.
May we read it?
Let's go to the meeting of the 6th January, starting from the one in Parliament.
Which annexure?
Let's start, in fact, in Parliament on the 20th, on the 5th of March, where General Khumalo said these dockets, the ministers have given a directive that the political task team be disbanded. And then there's been several meetings since then or subsequently. And then as a result, the dockets will be taken from PKTT to murder and robbery units. This is General Khumalo saying that. And then the following day, in a meeting with the minister, they produce an action plan.
General, the question is, where did you get that mandate? Is General not your junior, General Khumalo?
He is.
So you got a mandate from your junior?
No. It doesn't mean, I don't know, Chair. What I'm saying is simple and straightforward. It's simple and straightforward, and it doesn't confuse. It's straight. There is an instruction, a directive to disband. The National Commissioner says, act on it. They go to Parliament, they say, no, we agree, and we are doing it. And the next thing, they come up with an action plan themselves that disband, and they disband. They say, we will bring the docket on the 17th of March, even though they are handing over on the 28th of March, which happened not under my directive, under the directive of the National Commissioner. Remember, the National Commissioner said, I approved this plan, number one. Number two, the National Commissioner said in one of his statements that I told Sibiya to stop, I will do it myself, and then directed General Khumalo to do it. And he said from then onward, he told them to leave me alone and ignore my communication. And then from there, since then, his communication took precedence. So henceforth, whatever that was happening is the precedence that come as a result of the National Commissioner's instruction. In other words, everything that was happening, flowing therefrom, it was the National Commissioner's instruction. That is why they could come up with their plan that says, on this day, this is what will be happening, and this is what happened.
Yeah, but you were pointing me to a letter with an instruction to take dockets. We were still perusing.
Firstly, let's still start again on the document that I read that says, Minister Mkhwanazi
Which document, General?
This one is a minutes of the meeting on the 27th of 4th, meeting with the minister and the executive
annexure?
Evidence leader. I'm told, can I give this man? Whilst he's coming, the minister expressed his concern regarding the political killing task team. He suggested that instead of establishing separate units to focus on different types of matters, the organization should consider establishing a single integrated unit under the umbrella of murder and robbery unit. This unit will operate nationally, ensuring a more streamlined and coordinated approach to address such crimes across the country. And General Masemola responds by saying he clarified to the minister that the political killing task team is not a formal unit, but rather a task team. He explained that the primary objective of this task team was to evolve into a dedicated murder and robbery unit. As such, it does not appear on the organizational structure, given that it is temporary structure designated for a specific purpose and not a permanent operational unit. Now, we then followed by a work study officer that was approved by the National Commissioner, establishing the specialized unit such as the murder and robbery unit. Now, establishing the murder and robbery unit. So now, the murder and robbery units were established to also take care of cases like political killing task team, which was signed now on the 5th of June. And the National Commissioner's comment says, the National Commissioner says it must be expedited by the Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection. So all I'm saying is that there's no resistance whatsoever in implementing the specialized unit that must investigate the political killing task team.
Yeah, no, General, I've just read the letter, and there's nothing that General Sibiya take dockets or give an instruction for dockets to be removed from point A to point B. That is what I was looking for.
All right. I want a document, the action plan of the meeting of the 6th of March with the minister, because it says themselves there that the dockets will
be meeting between who and who?
The minister, National Commissioner, General Musigidi, myself, and the Chief of Staff. Page. Now, when you go to page 72 to 79, 79.
2 to 79. 72.
Page 79.
79.
The National Commissioner here says, based on this plan, they then handed dockets to Situmule, looking at this action plan that, according to the National Commissioner, she and General Musigidi agreed and supported the plan, and I was opposed to the plan together with the minister and the Chief of Staff. But this plan was produced and approved by the National Commissioner. It says, approval of disbandment plan by the Minister of Police is 2025-0306. Stakeholder engagement, and on the 6th of March, the minister actually partly approved the plan, but was just more concerned about the fact that you have now dockets, court-going dockets that are going to take too long. Now, it says stakeholder engagement with NPA, including prioritization of the 114 cases, is the National Commissioner on the 17th of March. Approval of the new call-up instruction and financial authority on 2025-2026, which is the National Commissioner on the 17th of March. Retaining the case dockets under investigation to KZN and Eastern Cape Project Manager, Divisional Commissioner, Detective and Forensic Service on the 17th of March. Provide progress to the Minister, National Commissioner, Deputy National Commissioner, Crime Detection. It will be Project Manager, Divisional Commissioner, and Forensic Service on the 31st of March. But to submit a final report, close-up report to the Minister, to be the Project Manager on the 31st of March.
No, I'm willing to, even though I'm not satisfied with the response that we have given so far, but I think we can move on to another question. But before we move on, even if we don't read the entire letter, just go to a paragraph that says, if there is, that gives you an instruction to take dockets from KZN to Pretoria. I just need that only.
Yeah.
I don't need a context for you to conceptualize and give interpretations of what you understood out of what was written by the commissioner. If there is, unless you are saying we won't find that paragraph, that I can accept. Is there any paragraph that says General Sibiya give an order or give an instruction for dockets to be taken from KZN to Pretoria?
There's no such letter.
There's no such letter.
Even from my side, there's no such letter.
No, I think I'm satisfied. We can move, no, I'm satisfied. We can move to other questions. Now, the PKK, the PKTT chair, are you talking? Okay. Now, the PKTT in question, was this the only PKTT that we had across the country? Was there no any other PKTT that was in existence?
Yes, it was the only PKTT.
So, okay, or task team rather, let me not say, because K stands for killings, and a task team can have various responsibility. Is that correct? Responsibilities, is that correct?
There were many other task teams.
There were many other task teams. And how many, during this period, how many were disbanded?
There's a letter that we read, the one that disbanded all the task teams because we are reintroducing the specialized unit. And the document specifically talks about, and we read it yesterday that says, let's go to page 11 of 184. Page 11.
Of your statement or of the bundles?
Of the bundle.
Of the attachments, right? Of the annexures.
Page 11.
Page 11.
Can I proceed?
Page 11?
Yeah, page 11.
Yes, I'm on page 11.
$177.
No, it's not here, General. No, General. Which document are we talking about?
My bundle, I don't know what you call it, Chair, but it is page 177 that talks about
Okay. Yeah, you can proceed, General.
you see, from paragraph 6.4.5.1.
Yes.
Chair, all these are task teams, and they are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is 14 so far that I see. But the sentence that I want to say, task teams that are not monitored run rampant for years without determining or accounting for the gap left where the members were taken from, mostly station level. Task team found operating in provinces are as follows. Then you find your foreign vehicle task team, multiple tour task team. So now the important sentence is this. These task teams should be placed within the murder and robbery unit to capacitate direct focus on a permanent structure with the necessary command and control budget and capability instead of functioning in silos. And it mentions also including political matters team. Now, when you go to the end of this same document, it's a work study that was approved and approved by the National Commissioner. Now, go to page 202. When you go to page 202, the National Commissioner says, implementation of these units must be expedited by DNC crime detection, DIFCOM detectives, and provincial commissioners. Now, DIFCOM, DNC crime detection is me, says implement and expedite the units. And this unit, like such as murder and robbery unit, is meant to investigate political killing task team as well, including your taxi-related killings, including your serial murders, police killings, etc.
Okay. The question was, were there any task teams that were disbanded simultaneously with the KZN1? That was my question. Remember, the KZN1 was disbanded on the 31st by the minister, right? So were there any other task teams that were disbanded during that period of the KZN disbandment?
It was an inspectorate, it was not a task team, but at the same time, in the same meeting, the minister disbanded the inspectorate and the PKTT.
So there were other task teams that were not disbanded?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I?
No, you can respond if you want to say.
Remember that we've got many task teams that are running depending where the fire is. If now there is, we have deployed in Mkhwanazi. I'm sure it's for 3 years now, where people could not even be stolen into Mozambique all the time, weapons coming into the country, people being terrorized. Mkhwanazi today is very quiet. We deployed there, and then we keep on retaining the members. We've deployed in Richards Bay, and I think the task team has been disbanded, I think. We've deployed in Eastern Cape. There's Operation Bamba and different other task teams that have been established but disbanded because it's only for a short little while to extinguish the fire and then move to another place where there is stabilize the place and move out.
Now, General, the decision to disband was taken by the minister. There's no question about that. Agree? Do you agree with me?
I do.
And in the disbandment, the National Commissioner had no role in the disbandment. Remember, he came after the disbandment.
No. I read this document that I just gave to yourself, Honorable Member, where the National Commissioner said, this is just a task team. It was not meant to be a permanent structure. It is not in the unit, it's not a unit that is in the structure of the police. It can be done. Yes. So he participated.
He participated after the letter was issued.
Even after the letter was issued, he continued to participate.
When you say even, you mean before he participated?
Before and after.
Before, what did he do before?
Before he gave his opinion there, and then during when it was after receiving of the letter, he directed that it be actioned, and then even after that, he participated in all the meetings, and he was positive.
Okay, so this paper is part of which document?
These are my notes from the minutes of the meeting, and then we try to get the minutes of the meeting to summon the minutes of the meeting, but we were not given the minutes. But from my own work diary, this is what we have.
So there's nothing to prove at this stage that the minister participated prior, except your notes that you have written.
I'm saying there is everything to prove if the committee can summon the minutes of the meeting, because there's also recordings where the National Commissioner's voice will be heard.
I'm wrapping up, Chair. Am I running out of time? Let me wrap up, Chairperson. I will ask questions which require short answers.
When the robot is read, you don't ask, may I stop?
I didn't see the robot, Chair. My apologies. May I wrap up, Chair?
Yeah.
General, what is the SAPS procedure to deport an undocumented person from South Africa, in a nutshell?
Well, the people are taken to Lindela and the Home Office processes follows, where they begin to interact and with the other country. There's a process where the forms are being completed from the police stations that deports the person.
Were you the member of the DPCI members who were led by Lieutenant Colonel Maluleke, who were implicated in the rendition case?
I was not a member of, I was the deputy provincial head. I was the head of the Hawks in Gauteng, and I was not part of that operation of head office. So I was not part of it altogether.
You were not part
at all.
You don't even know how it happened, how they were deported.
I never gave anyone instruction. I never participated. It is just one of those incidents that look like this one.
So you don't even know if those undocumented people are in jail or they are out. You have absolutely no.
Absolutely no. And they were all, and for your information, Chair, they were all arrested by crime intelligence. And crime intelligence even gave them the letter of commendation for the job well done at intelligence head office. I was in Gauteng. I had nothing to do whatsoever. I never even phoned one person. I never signed any document. I was never at the scene, not even once. My name was just used.
I appreciate your extra time, Chair. No further questions. Thank you very much.
No, I want you to ask the question that you asked on Friday, the 10th of October. And you asked that question to General Masemola. So General Sibiya is here in person. You must ask him that question, which you asked General Masemola whether General Sibiya is a corrupt.
I will corrupt cop.
So he is here. You must not. You must have the courage.
Thank you for reminding me. That question was part of my questions. General Sibiya, are you a corrupt cop?
I'm not.
You are not?
Yes.
So all these allegations against you are false and frivolous?
False, contrived, and frivolous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think you have done justice. It will not be fair to ask a question like that in his absence, and when he's here, you don't ask him. Honorable Braden Bach, Honorable Nomvalo, in case you feel you may want to be released, you are allowed. Honorable Braden Bach.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, General Sibiya.
Good afternoon, Honorable Member.
So, General, I'm a little confused. I can't. It's too long and too big and too ugly, too everything. I'm a little confused. So, there's all this fuss about this press conference of General Mkhwanazi. We have a Malanga Commission, we have this Ad-Hoc committee, and everybody wants to get to the truth. If what he says is true, it's a big problem, but it's not information that hasn't been around for years. Unless you've been living under a rock in this country, you had to know most of this, maybe not in this kind of detail, but everybody knew about all of these things. So do you know why now? Do you know if his press conference, General Mkhwanazi's press conference was, whether what he says is true or not, constitutes a genuine desire to expose corruption and criminality within the police, or is this the manifestation of a battle for power in the police? Is this a battle for the top job when Masemola retires?
Personally, quite honestly speaking, Honorable Chair, this has got nothing to do with the 121 dockets and the disbandment of the political killing task team. This, according to me, it's about the succession battle within the police. And why I'm saying this is about a succession battle within the police. I know that in this case, in my case, this whole thing is actually meant to block me from, they know, I had an interview where I was interviewed by one of the radio stations or TV stations and saying, General Sibiya, now that the General Lebeya will be going, are you interested? Are you available? And I said, well, given that opportunity, I will go. And then from there, the media were running, saying that General Sibiya has thrown his head in the gauntlet as well, he's ready. And as a result of that, you will see newspaper article that says Sibiya versus Musigidi versus Mkhwanazi. And then the next thing, what happened is that General Kumalo got arrested. That angered General Mkhwanazi to an extent that he sent a message to one of his friends, colleague, that says, can I proceed there?
No.
He sent a message of a song of Tupac that says, I'll kill them at night when they're sleeping. Now, he was so furious. And then even General Masemola, to an extent that I began to hear that they feel that I have something to do with that arrest. I ended up calling the National Commission and saying, NASCOM, I don't know about this arrest. Nobody knew. I didn't even expect it because this thing is something that happened within CI. The National Commissioner then said to me, no, you wouldn't have known about this arrest because it's something that happened within CI. Then later, I also got questions from the media guys that says, hey, we understand you're going to be arrested. You will get members who says, don't go to work on Monday. They say you're going to be arrested. Then I go to the National Commissioner, ask him, National Commissioner says, no, don't put me in there. You are not about to be arrested. Then we start working together. We run until the 4th of July, on the eve of the 6th, I get a call from General Mkhwanazi talking to me, asking me whether I'm coming to KZN or not. Then I said, no, I'll be coming, General. But the next thing, Sunday, this is a press conference about me. So as far as I'm concerned, and in one of these meetings, I think General Mkhwanazi said it in this house, where he said, the National Commissioner was on the doorstep of being arrested. That's why we had to do something. It's a direct admission that this was just a preemptive strike. So the people of South Africa have just been taken for a ride that, no, this is about the disbandment and the docket. Because this docket, we're not gathering dust in my office. I have demonstrated and I still have it, and this committee has got the benefit of being able to call for the dockets. They were last seen since some of them 2018, 2019, 2020, 2023, 2024. So I'm just saying, for us to be sitting here today talking about the issue of the docket, it's a non-issue. Those dockets were dead long time ago. They are still dead now. Even if they can be called now tomorrow, you will see that they are still far.
So how much of what General Mkhwanazi told us in his press conference is fact, and how much of it is semi-fact, and how much of it is conjecture?
General Mkhwanazi is playing the country, and he's playing a mind game to the country, and he's actually playing those that are prepared to listen to him, because he knows how to play with words and what to say and the things he needs to say and how to say it in such a way that the country get moved. He will say, we are doing this thing for the country and to protect the people of South Africa. Me, I can defend myself, but the people of South Africa, who's defending them? Now he wants to play that he's defending the people of South Africa. Now we will then come and say, dockets were taken by General Sibiya. They are in his office, in his archives. I don't have dockets in my office, in my archive. I don't have that. And then he makes serious allegations in such a way that if someone was to say, General Mkhwanazi, you are the provincial commissioner, the police in KZN received information to go and conduct a search and seizure at Kalagabusha Hospital, Correctional Services. And they went there and they searched. And as they searched, they found drugs. Then someone called General Mkhwanazi, or a call come into the suspect that is being arrested, phone, say, give them the phone. And then the suspect give the phone to General Mkhwanazi. General Mkhwanazi says, you stop right there, you stop what you're doing, that docket must be taken there. That's interference. And that's defeating. If it was done by someone else, that person would have been suspended. Just let's compare the fact that he says, when they went to arrest Katiso Molefe, a team was sent from head office to there. He did the same. But there's no crime there, because as far as I'm concerned, what he does, there's no wrong. If he sent his team to go and kidnap a ballistic expert, seize the laptop, take the laptops, the files, and add ballistic expert, that is obstruction of justice, interfering. And then he comes here and he says, no. The members were doing their work and they didn't intimidate, and they were even bought lunch. Why are they interfering with the investigative system? Because there's a chain of possession. The integrity needs to be preserved at all material times of the evidence that has been collected. Now, I'm sitting with a situation where if there was anybody, if today I can stand up and go and call that press conference, I also used, at some point in my life, I also wore camouflage uniform. Maybe I should also wear one, go make a conference as well and talk things. But I will be fired from the podium same time. That day, on stage, doing that, I'll be gone. But some people, because they've got a very powerful social media that they have invested in, every TikTok that you open, no police official is allowed to do what General Mkhwanazi is doing. No provincial commissioner you will see on TikTok. He's the only one that campaign on and funded on TikTok. And this wins all the South Africans. You touch Mkhwanazi, you touch us. But he's a policeman. So I'm just saying there are a lot of things that are wrong that we are supporting as a country. And we are creating a monster that no one is able to control. That is why he's able to come here in this house and threaten members of this house and say, you don't touch the members of intelligence, and because you will forcing them to respond. And once they respond, they will talk. And once they talk, many of you, I don't know what said, many of you will do what, but that is wrong. We can't allow such a situation as a country to continue. So all I'm saying is that if the purpose for which he wants crime intelligence to continue and the political testing to continue, and then the next thing, nobody can touch them because they use this political killing testing to conduct their investigations. They also controlling intelligence. They've got intelligence on everyone. Whoever wants to come closer to them, then that person gets threatened and say that we will talk. Can't be that, can't be allowed.
General, the political killings task team, by all accounts, was initially quite successful. In the recent past, less successful. So what is all the fuss about?
I really don't know, Honorable Member, because we are saying we're building a capable state. Building a capable state, we're saying let the whole country be equipped, be well-resourced with technology in such a way that they are capable and able, to an extent that they are all able to carry their own respective environments. Now, we cannot really be fighting so hard to keep and maintain a very expensive political killing task team that is meant to actually take care of a very small number or pool of excellence within KZN only. The whole country is not really taken care of, and the whole country is suffering. Once you have one provincial commissioner fighting so hard for the political task team to continue for years, spending millions and millions and millions on a yearly basis, that shouldn't be allowed.
Tell me, General, when you were reinstated into the South African Police, Did you know anything about Matlala, Mkhwanazi, these people?
Not at all. I found them here, these people in the police, especially Matlala. I found them working with the police very close to the generals and other police officials. I mean, it is unfortunate. He's a well-known person in my case, I didn't know him. I didn't know him only at the time when his name began to pop up. And by the time his name began to pop up, the moment you start to step back, you can see that already this man is known by all.
But part of your portfolio was to also be in charge of crime intelligence, right?
That's correct, Honorable Member.
Surely they would have been able to fully inform you about these gentlemen. Did you not make inquiries? And if not, why not?
This is one aspect that I think crime intelligence need to know. Their job is not only to gather, collect, collate, analyze, and support, or at support. They need to support the management, the leadership of the police. If, for an example, Chair, it so happens that you come across an individual who contacts you regularly, and this individual is on site. They know that they are monitoring this person. They must be able to go to the National Commissioner or to the Minister or to whoever and say, hey, Chief, we can see that this person is contacting you or you are in constant communication with this person. But do know that this person we are looking at, we are working on him. Warn me so that I can run. Now, if I don't know and I keep on interacting with this person, not knowing what this person is doing when he gets home at night, then I won't know. And tomorrow you get associated with someone that you wouldn't have under normal circumstances.
So are you saying, General, that nobody warned you and you didn't ask?
Nobody warned me. Even the National Commissioner and the subs, they did. I remember when we saw a letter that came from Ad-Hoc that says we want to know why and how was this man awarded a tender when he's under investigation by subs. But at the time the man was awarded a tender up to the highest level, everybody saw it. It never happened under the mattress. They saw it and it ran with everybody knowing. During the events at the college, he also had, among the many gazebos that were there, they also had their own gazebo there. And where they will do like their blood pressure, your sugar test and this and that. He was one of the service providers, as normal as possible. Nobody knew about the rest.
But that is a reasonable question to ask, General, why, if he was under investigation by the police, was he allowed to parade around like that, to do business with the police, to contract with the police? How does that happen? How does the left hand not know what the right hand is doing? And what does that say about the police?
Maybe it is the vetting that is lacking or something that needs to really be corrected, or all such tenders needs to be vetted and checked properly to say who is this one and how did he get here. But at this present moment, that part of the tenders and the service providers is something that I'm far from. It's supply chain. It's another division completely. I don't even know the role players that side.
So are you suggesting that that doesn't happen, that people are not properly vetted, that the police enter into tenders with millions of taxpayers' money and they don't vet, because that appears to be the position?
Had it happened, I don't think anybody would have been in trouble by now. If it happened, because from the onset, it wouldn't have happened.
So there are these persistent rumors, I'm sure you've heard them too, about the imminent arrest of General Masemola and General Khumalo by Ad-Hoc. Is this true? Do you know if this is true?
I really don't know if it is true, Chair. I don't have that information.
But they don't go away?
I heard about this information, but because it was at some point also in the newspapers, but I don't know the fact, because I don't know whether it was an authentic document that was leaked to the media, but it seemed to have investigation from the IG report. So that part, I don't know. I see it from a distance.
During your evidence, you spoke about a meeting with the National Commissioner and the Minister and other high-ranking officers, where Matlala and his contract with the police was discussed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
The Minister asked what was known about the tender, and he asked that Matlala be investigated.
That's correct.
I'm puzzled as to why it was dependent upon the Minister, a newcomer to this space, to ask for him to be investigated. Why didn't somebody in the police, you all have years of experience, why didn't somebody in the police actually think of that themselves and do it?
This is when the stories of Mr. Matlala were gaining momentum and about the tender. That's how the minister got to ask and say, I get this information. What happened here? Can the auditors, internal audit and others, please investigate this thing as to how did this man get this tender? Were there any irregularities and that? And a response came and the minister gave an order that it be cancelled.
Okay, but that only answers half the question. The other part of the question is, why did nobody in the police take the initiative to do this investigation? If the minister could read about it in the press, so could everybody in the South African police. Why didn't somebody do something? Why didn't you do something?
I could only do something about it if I knew about it. But up until we saw a letter from Ad-Hoc questioning that part and say, why is this thing happening? Because we are investigating this thing. So there's not much anymore I can do when already Ad-Hoc is saying they are working on it. And as far as I'm concerned, Chair, many a times I like it when there is an investigation, even if it includes me or it involves me or where I could be closer to it. If it is investigated from outside, be it Ad-Hoc, DPCI, or IPIT, to me, I feel comfortable if it's a neutral body investigating. Not these things that we see in the subs now, where you find that they let very junior officials are chasing after a deputy national commissioner every day, saying that, no, we are investigating the deputy national commissioner. They've got this excitement of using very junior member to chase after a senior member. I don't know if we were to turn the tide and do the same to some senior top official members, and you set some constables and sergeants to run after him and investigate him and embarrass him. This is not right.
So General, is there political interference in the police? Are there attempts to influence the direction of investigations, particularly with regards to corruption and politically connected people? Does that happen?
The first part of the question I didn't hear.
Is there political interference in the police? Are there attempts to influence the direction of investigations, particularly with regard to corruption and politically connected individuals?
So far, I've never been interfered with from any minister or deputy minister. I don't know of any political interference. And in relation to this disbandment of the task team, I received a directive from the National Commissioner. It is between the National Commissioner and the minister to decide whether there's political interference or not.
I'm not talking about the political killings task team in general. I'm talking about in general.
In general,
are you aware of political interference in the South African police?
I don't know of any.
So you've never been asked to investigate or not investigate anybody?
I've never been tasked to investigate anybody, any official from the side of the minister.
In your view, is the top management of South African police capable of running the police in the best interests of South Africans?
Yes, they are capable. When I look at the statistics and in the meetings that I've said, where we said as a team, when we're really working and we're working hard, there's a difference, there's hard work that has been done. It is unfortunate that you do have this other people who come in and cause division within the police.
Who comes in and causes division in the police?
There are people who go and whisper to the minister. Chair, what I want to say is that just after I came back, someone intelligence, they went to Minister Kele. They said, Minister, do you know that you agreed that General Sibiya must come back? And you just promoted him, but you know that he's investigating you. And the minister was very angry and said, but why is Sibiya doing this? Because, I didn't even object that he must come back, but I hear that he's investigating me. At that time, I don't even have a team. I know nothing. And the minister he was not angry, but when I saw the minister, I could see that he's looking at me in a dim view. Then I went to the National Commission and said, hey, NASCOM, what is going on? I hear 1, 2, 3, 4. He said, yeah, it did happen, but I told him that, no, it's not true. I told the minister, no, it can't be true. Then they go to the National Commissioner, they say to the National Commissioner, are you aware that Sibiya wants your job, is mobilizing for your job? Then the National Commissioner woke up at night and he went to see the mother of my child, who's my colleague then, went to visit her and say, hey, do you know that Sibiya wants my job? And then I had to write a long message to the National Commissioner to assure him that, National Commissioner, I've never been in uniform all my life. I've never been a station commander, a cluster commander or a provincial commissioner. I'm not interested to become a national commissioner. Please, I'm interested in the DPCI, but not here. And then he said, no, thank you very much. Please keep it the way you are. And the next thing, it never stopped. It went on and on and on and on, with the National Commissioner thinking that I want him out.
So don't you want to be the National Commissioner?
I don't think that is where I want to be, but if I'm approached, I would go for the opportunity. My role is that they've worked hard to try and speak to, when you look at artificial intelligence and all the negative stories are said about me, whether it's Senzo Meyiwa, what they do is they just throw my name and then it will replicate into 1,000 that talks about negative things about you. Everything that you say, it just turned into artificial intelligence. Just to speak bad about my name in such a way that even tomorrow when I have to occupy a position, a consideration is to be made. They will say, this one is too controversial, or this one has a lot of issues. This is the intention.
General, I understand that this process is painful and it's not the first time. You're going through it. But this isn't only about you. You understand that? This is about South Africa. And my question to you was, do you think the top management of the South African police are capable of running the police service in a fashion that is in the best interests of South African citizens? And you said yes, but just the state of the country, the level of crime, South African police service is not managing to do a good job. I understand that there are thousands of policemen who go to work every day, and thank God for them, who do a great job. But we're not managing. And something will have to change. We have to do something differently. And what is that going to be?
I must indicate, Chair, the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, the current National Commissioner, is very experienced. And he knows his job. He knows what he's doing. And he knows how to deploy. And he knows how to build a team at some point. He knows how to look at the situation. Let's take, for an example, the elections. And he knows how to plan, put a proper plan together that will actually result into zero incidents throughout the country. And when you look at the statistics, they're green, 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 green. So I can't sit here and say, no, they are not capable. They are capable. There are challenges, yes, but they are capable.
Okay, General, my last question. When you took over crime intelligence, what did you do to clean it up? Because Lord knows it was a mess. Can you tell us today that it's better?
It was a mess, but when I came in, it was run by General Khumalo. I have received a number of complaints that affect him. And I've also received a number of complaints from the generals that report to him. But unfortunately, it is a space that I was entirely not in control of, because General Khumalo's got a special relationship with the National Commissioner. That is why even when he gets arrested, the National Commissioner will make sure that he does not get suspended, number one. Number two, within 2 weeks, he clears him. Then there's nothing. It doesn't happen just you find that there is crime committed, a person has been charged, investigated by Ad-Hoc, charged, and then still running the case. But within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you have cleared the person. You even submit an affidavit that this person be allowed to go back to work. As an accounting officer, you don't do those things. So I'm just saying, crime intelligence, it has got challenges. And hence you can see already investigations that are already running. And I don't know how many more are still there from the IDEC side, but there are challenges within crime intelligence. You'll take it from here. Look at how many generals are out that are not there. And all of them are in courts against the head. All of them are in court against the head. You go to Western Cape, you go to head office, you go to other provinces. It's here and there where you find that a general is not in court, but there's a big fight. Where there's a brigadier, even internally, there's just, I heard the National Commission saying I'm fighting with everybody. No, it's not the case. I am a Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Intelligence. When I get undermined by someone who is not in this space, it's my job to stand up and say, but no, you can't do this. It's not really fighting with anybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Breitenbach. Honorable Klopper.
Thank you, Chairperson, and good day, General Sibiya.
Just wait a moment. Honorable Skosana wants to ask a question.
No, thank you, Chair. It's not a question, it's just, I'll say, Parliament, in Parliament, we normally say we should not display anything. There's an outcry against one of our members, who happens to be my chairperson, that he's advertising on his, next to, I think, on his tie, on television. It's very clear. And that company in particular, they are bidding, within our space, of the SAPS. So I just want us to, please just ask our member to, hide that company's name.
The chairperson is me here.
No, of SAPS, I'm sorry. Honorable Cameron.
Honorable Cameron.
Yes.
What is being advertised?
No, they are complaining about what he's wearing. There's a name which shows on television.
The lanyard.
Okay, I won't mention the name, because if I mention the name, then the brand will.
I'm not the lanyard that he's wearing, is it branded? Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, this is the Glock one. Sometimes I wear a CZ1, other days Canik. I can do Taurus as well, Chair. There's a whole variety. I like shooting and spending time on a range with sport shooting especially. So if they've got a formal complaint, please do, because that means that some of the members I saw the other day was wearing Gucci or Prada shoes. They should also not mention or wear those, Chair. Chair, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous.
This it breaks. I have been trying to avoid them, and I thought honourable members have listened when You remember when we spoke about the vehicle, I kept on using the word vehicle without trying to go to the details. And whatever brands that we may know, let us not use the platform of parliament to advertise those brands, including Skosana, Honorable Skosana, including that one that is before you. Is it an empty can or an empty bottle? Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was let me tell you, and you see, let me tell you how I like it. When we break, Chief Whip, when we break, members of this committee are the ones who come to the chair and say, let us not do this and that, because the people that we lead do not have the luxury that we have. And I think we must just keep it like that. Yeah. So if it may appear like there is a brand which is being advertised, Honorable Cameron, I don't think that you consciously came here to advertise that brand. And you can still try your best not to be seen advertising it. Thank you so much. Honorable Klopper.
Thank you, Chair, and we'll get back to the matters of national importance. Good day, General Sibiya. Lieutenant General, I would like to revisit a point that you made during the evidence leaders questioning about the alleged messages that could be on your phone, which was allegedly connected to the so-called spyware communication. When you were asked what would happen if you landed and your phone was seized, you said you would confidently be able to deny that messages existed, and even if they showed you, you would be able to confidently deny them. Is that accurate?
Yes, Chair.
Then you added something very important, General Sibiya. You said it's crime intelligence. Anything is possible. What exactly did you mean by that?
What I mean is that, Chair, having listened to the bail application in Mr. Matlala's bail application, where a mention was made that the phone was seized, and the next thing there was some tampering and messages inserted or deleted. So I'm not sure of the situation, whether it's true or not. But what I can just simply say and repeat in this House, Chair, is that I don't know who Comrade or Keda Matebula is. And then it's not my language. I don't have Kedas. So there are just some of the statements that you outrightly deny, reject from the start because it's not you. Whether they are there or not, this one I'll blatantly just reject. It's not like there's anything dangerous on that message. It's just a message that was sent. But looking at the way it is, it's just a kind of a message that you just outright reject.
General, you said you made no hints at possible insertions and deletions of messages. Are you suggesting that crime intelligence could plant or manipulate data on your device?
That's doable.
Sorry?
That's doable.
It's doable. Do you really believe that the members of Crime Intelligence Division are capable of this type of conduct? Falsifying or fabricating evidence on a senior officer's phone?
With what I've seen when they seized the laptop of the ballistic expert and I was told that it was tampered with, to me is evident enough.
So, General, are you saying that you believe that this could be done to any civilians' devices and gadgets as well?
Possible.
General, if this is your belief and they are in fact capable of this, have you reported these concerns formally to the Inspector General of Intelligence or to the National Commissioner? Have you raised these concerns with him about this?
What I did in my case, on more than 4, 5, 6 occasions, my phone, I could not access my phone because there was a SIM swap done on my phone. And then I would write an SMS since 2022. I would write an SMS to MTN, Vodacom, and tell them that I don't have access to my phone. Someone has done a SIM swap on my phone, and I will fight for. They will, in fact, even reverse it, and it will take 24 hours. But it happened a couple of times, and I have attached the documentation. Also, I do have it with me. Where I reported even to the National Commission and to the national head and say, someone has actually took my number to date. And then you find that I will only get it somewhere on Monday. Now, when someone has done a SIM swap on your number, that number is his. Whatever they do with that number, you'll only get to know much at the later stage that there is this message that went from here or to there. But it was a genuine thing that can be investigated. I reported even to the DPCI, I reported to MTN head office, they know. They even suggested that, or recommended that, why don't you contract this? At some point, I had to migrate it from SLC to MTN because actually they were stealing it every now and then. And then I realized that it's not safe. So I'm just saying, each time it happened, I had to report. That's what I did.
So you, General Sibiya, do I understand you correctly that you're saying that you think this was the crime intelligence that was doing this? Because I'm talking under the banner of your remark of crime intelligence, anything is possible.
In my case, Chair, I must indicate that I've had a lot where I'm really surrounded by crime intelligence officials, men marking me, following me day to day, listening to my devices, and also following me all over. Sometimes we'll be sitting even here in a meeting in Cape Town, you will see a team from Bloemfontein coming to have a meeting with the National Commissioner. I'm the head of intelligence, but you find that they're sitting with the National Commissioner in a room and they're talking to him, and then I don't know. Or like the National Commissioner said, General Kumalo reports to me, but the National Commissioner said to General Kumalo, investigate him. And we expect the man to report to me, yet he's investigating me. It's not a healthy situation. It's not a healthy situation, and it can't be tolerated or allowed to go on like that. Now, the man, that, even when you call him, he knows he's working with you, he's working on you, and he's putting all the resources around you. And then he's man marking you, he's investigating you, he's giving reports about you to the National Commissioner. How can there be peace between you and the National Commissioner when your colleague, your subordinate who's supposed to report to you is also working on you? This is an undesirable state of affairs. This should not be allowed to happen. We need a clean administration where you find that once you are the boss of the police, everybody else under you will work with you and will respect you. And in such a way that you don't have cliques or certain people that you have a good relationship with against those that you don't have a relationship with.
Thank you, General. I just think it's very worrisome that such a allegation, it's a serious allegation that such criminal tampering can be taking place, even to yourself as a high-ranking official as you are. But I will just be moving on. Lieutenant General, you made an interesting point just there about how appointments are handled at senior levels. You mentioned being promoted in 2023, and you made specific reference to the process, saying that you don't apply and you get identified. What I do want to understand a little better is when you say you get identified, who exactly does the identifying? Is it the National Commission or the Minister or both? Are they acting in consultation?
The National Commissioner will identify sometimes in consultation with the Minister, or you can apply to be promoted in terms of Section 45, or then, but they do identify a person they want to employ. And many at this level, you will never see that much where there's a position of Deputy National Commissioner advertised. You will never see a position of National Commissioner advertised. You get identified or headhunted, but you get identified.
In general, you further confirm that the minister must approve this identification. So if there's no open application process, would you agree that this could potentially create risk, even unintentionally, or favoritism?
I don't know about that part because I think they also apply an objective approach in doing so. It's possible, but I don't think, remember, these are people who's got the best interest of the organization at heart because they want, if they don't apply their mind, it affects performance of the organization as well. So you will never appoint someone because you want to shoot yourself on the foot. You will employ someone because you want someone who will be able to assist you to fight crime.
Lieutenant General, you yourself, nearing the end of yesterday's proceedings, criticized a system where people who can't even investigate and some who are just drivers are suddenly in top posts. Kind of contradicts your statement that you just made now. Doesn't that suggest that the same identification system that you benefited from might also be enabling appointments based on relationships rather than merit? And if so, does this not contribute to the rot we're seeing currently amongst your own ranks at the moment?
I was talking about a lieutenant colonel, not a lieutenant general. A lieutenant colonel who is not an investigating officer. I'm told that this lieutenant colonel was a driver to General Mkhwanazi. So as a result, this lieutenant colonel who was a driver today is the one who's an investigating officer and is the one who participated in going to seize the laptop of a ballistic expert. This is the same lieutenant colonel who was involved in the corruption that took place in Porter matter where the accused number one gave money to this team.
General, you spoke often about the discipline in the police service, about how young officers and college recruits are taught and how that discipline is meant to hold the institution together. Let me take you to your own account of what happened with General Mkhwanazi. You said at the time you had a telephone conversation with the Deputy Provincial Commissioner in KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. General Mkhwanazi, who became very angry and that he was in some way or form very combative towards you, resulting in him banning you from operating in KZN. You also reminded him that you were the senior, and you alluded that he ended the call and sent you a very long text message. You seemingly seemed to accept the ban and left the matter there. You didn't elaborate on it. Did you, in your view, that exchange between you and General Mkhwanazi, did you view it as subordination?
Insubordination is an understatement. If a man is able to call you a criminal daylight in the public, or call you and say you are a baby, talking to members of the parliament and say, this is the man that I can say is like a baby. I joined the police in 1989, he joined in 1993. I became a general in 2010, he became a general in 2011. I mean, I've got 37 years in what I'm doing. I don't know how his experience, but in what I've been doing, I've been good at what I'm doing, and I've run operations throughout this country, throughout the country, including in KZN themselves. I participated the deployment in Manguzi, Richards Bay, many other areas, Eastern Cape, everywhere. I've been in the country, throughout this country. So it cannot be that my experience can be downplayed by someone like that, because his experience is in the field of special task force and maybe running the facility at HR support, then the provincial commissioner. So I really don't want to go too deep in trying to get to a lower level of comparing myself and him and this and that and this and that. Since I started testifying, I've always avoided to name names and ridicule anyone and speak bad about somebody. So I'm trying even now to not to get to that point.
Thank you. Did you take any disciplinary action against him?
No, I can't take a disciplinary action against him because he doesn't report to me, even though I may be his senior, he reports to the National Commissioner. And if you really want peace, how do you say you can take disciplinary action against him? Because there will be a fight. And a fight is what we have always been wanted to avoid.
General, were you allowed to operate in KZN after that incident? You mentioned a meeting and you shook hands and so forth. After that, were you allowed to operate in KZN again?
Yes, we operate. Remember that I deploy. I don't have to run on the ground myself. I deploy. I deployed in Richards Bay. I deployed in Emanguzi. I deployed in many parts of KZ, and we do have where we operate.
General, I will get to my last question. I see my time is almost finished, so I will skip. I just have one question towards the end of yesterday's testimony. You kept saying we wanted it finalized when we were speaking about the letter of the 22nd of April that was sent. I just want to know who is the we? Who is the we that wanted it finalized quickly? Was it the minister? Was it subordinates? Was it another officer? Because when you kept saying we, it just seemed to imply that it wasn't just your idea, that was a collective feeling it needed to be expedited from the letter of the 22nd to be finalized by the 24th of April.
Remember that if the National Commissioner, let's say, implemented something, and then you go to the meeting of the 6th of March, in the 6th of March, it tells you exactly on what steps are going to be followed to finalize this process. Now, come the last date there, it was the 31st of March, but come the 28th of March, there's a handing over now done between two divisional commissioners from CI to crime detection. Now, you already have the dockets in your possession. The head of CI handed over the dockets to the head of detectives. Now, they are now in your hands. They must be finalized speedily so that they are out of your hands. And it's exactly what happened. Push this thing now to where they belong, murder and robbery unit, so that they are not in your hands gathering dust. Because the more you keep them, is what led to General Mkhwanazi saying that they took dockets, they're sitting in General Sibiya's office gathering dust.
If you could give me a very, very short answer because my time is finished. At what date again did you say that it was out of your hands? You were finished, that it was now moved over to the National Commission. It wasn't anymore in your hands or your responsibility anymore. Which date was that?
At the time when the National Commissioner said his letter took precedence over mine. Do we have the page number, legal team? Because the National Commissioner said he told them to ignore my letters and then to carry on with his letters. From then henceforth, his instructions took precedence over mine. There was no competition. He remains my boss too.
General, 22nd of April, 22nd. After that. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Chairperson. I conclude.
Thank you so much, Honorable Klopper.
I don't know, they just given me the letter. Should I read it or it's not necessary? Chair?
Honorable Klopper.
You can read it. It's not a problem. Thank you, Chair. It is page 36 of the National Commissioner's affidavit, paragraph 118, that says, in line with my discussion with Lieutenant General Sibiya, I also had a discussion with Lieutenant General Kumalo. I told him to prepare a preliminary report as contained in the Minister's Directive of 31st of December 2024, and that we should aim for 20 January 2025 to submit the report. Since this was a direct instruction from me, it took precedence over Lieutenant General Sibiya's instruction of 17 January. Now, this means that anything and everything flowing from this letter now takes precedence as the National Commissioner's instructions. Even when Khumalo bring the docket to Sintumulo to whoever, this letter takes precedence. Since Khumalo is already now in direct communication with the National Commissioner, whatever that he does is as a result of the National Commissioner's instruction going forward.
Wait, Honorable Skosana, wait. Honorable Tlhopha, you're fine.
Yes, Chairperson, thank you, I'm fine.
Okay, thank you, so Honorable Skosana.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Chair, just to make a follow-up, if the letter which is reading, is it signed as well?
It is signed. It is in the National Commissioner's statement.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm looking at the gentleman who was taking pictures. Okay. Honorable Matthys, once you are done, we break. Eh? Thank you.
I might not be done then, Chair. I don't think we deserve a break. Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon to the members of Parliament and to the General. General, yesterday you gave testimony that as the Deputy National Commissioner was responsible for crime detection in the country, there's a lot of things you said you don't know. You didn't know about the arrest of, oh, my thing is doing things. You said you didn't know about the arrest of General Khumalo.
I didn't know about?
About the arrest of General Khumalo.
Yes, I didn't.
Right? You said you didn't know about the request by General Khumalo to the Provincial Commissioner regarding seconding the PKTT members to Gauteng.
I didn't.
You also didn't know about the press conference that the KZN Commissioner was going to do. You didn't know about Kat Makala. The guy has 80 cases dating back to 2007, and he has a huge tender with SAPS. You didn't know about the big five. It's confusing, General. Do you consider yourself competent as in your job?
Yes, I consider myself competent. If I was part of the tender process that was assessing Mr. Matlala's tender, I would suggest that it would be fair to say to me, why didn't you know? But I didn't form part of that process. I didn't even know that he's an applicant or is participating in such. Now, the arrest of General Khumalo. General Khumalo was arrested by IDEC. It's not the South African Police Service. So I wouldn't know. And all the things the honorable member is mentioning are not things within my sphere where someone can say, but why don't you know? I didn't know.
Okay, General, make this make sense, right? You do not know that one of your generals is going to be arrested. And I know it wasn't by SAPS, right? It's a sister department. It's your job, it's your responsibility to know. Crime detection is huge, it includes crime intelligence as well. So you should have sources everywhere. I find it extremely hard to believe, or for this to even make sense, that you had no idea, formally or informally, that your general was about to get arrested. Even the commissioner of KZN knew that he was going to be arrested. So you're saying that you don't have access to information and sources like the rest of SAPS members.
The very first person who was supposed to know that he was going to be arrested is the member himself. because his intelligence, his counterintelligence. This is the person that anybody can say he expect to know about everything that moves. But above all, even the National Commissioner didn't know that that was going to happen. So where I'm sitting, if IDEC or IPIT, the IDEC or IPIT, they are investigating a particular matter. There's no way us will know from where we are sitting because we are not in that space.
Okay, so South Africans should feel comfortable that our national head of crime intelligence cannot know that one of their generals is going to be arrested by another organization. We should be comfortable with that, and we should be comfortable that we have a competent deputy commissioner responsible for crime crime detection.
If I was fully in charge of crime intelligence, including counterintelligence, they were reporting to me, I would be knowing. But they don't report to me.
Okay, let's go on to a bit of your career. So yesterday you said that there's no crime intelligence, and however we interpret it is not really the point. But in your statement, paragraph 23, you say that you have been responsible for crime intelligence since 2003. That's about 2 years and 3 months. And it's been recently moved under the National Commissioner, but I don't think it's been effected yet. So what is your response that the failure of crime intelligence is actually a reflection of your role, which you partly spoke to, but I need you to speak to this more clearly and not go around and around the bush, please, General, that it is a reflection of your role as the Deputy National Commissioner of Crime Detection.
Chair, I was looking for the page. The honorable member said page
23, paragraph 23. I'm not sure which page.
Page?
The page 49. When you talk about your career, that section, it's page 9, paragraph 23, but I'm right, that is paragraph 23. Yes. Thank you for the page number, ANC Chief Whip.
Yes, I'm there, honorable member. What is the question?
Yeah, so you say there that you're responsible for crime intelligence. Now you're saying you're only partly and you're not fully. I do understand the issue of counterintelligence, but it's pretty much been in your office, or you've been responsible for it for over 2 years.
I've been responsible for it for only 2 years, but it was then also taken away to report to the National Commissioner. But even then, when it was reporting to me, it had two dual reporting lines. In my case, they came to report to me that what they wanted me to know, and that what they didn't want me to know was going to be reported to the National Commissioner. It's not like I never complained about such. I complained many times about that, and that the lines of the reporting lines have been blurred, and this is creating problem for myself. And I challenged it many a times, but the bottom line is that everybody knows he was not reporting to me entirely.
So would we agree that the issue here is SAPS officials?
Yes, ma'am.
You and the National Commissioner and also the head of crime intelligence. Because you, as the senior officials that the country relies on to make sure our children are not raped, and if they are, they're getting justice, to make sure our children are not trafficked. A simple process of just understanding, reporting, or having those basic processes in place is what is costing the country, and our children are in the state that they're in now. Right now, children are being raped and they've been trafficked. And we have adults that have been appointed in these strategic positions and that are busy with their egos and are busy fighting with each other and are unable to do the jobs that we put them in there to do. Can we concede on that?
It's a long question, and I'm trying to understand the essence of the question. Can it be repeated in short, Councillor?
Okay, I guess it is a bit
Councillor,
of a,
Honorable Chair, Honorable Member.
yeah, I guess it is a bit of a political statement, but what I'm saying ultimately that we are in this mess is because they are the National Commissioner, yourself as head of crime detection, and then the head of crime intelligence cannot sit down and have a clear process to.
It's not supposed to happen. That's why how we find ourselves in this mess, because everyone has been doing their best to try to do what they can under the circumstances.
And if that is the best, I don't know what's going to be good. Let's move on to your suspension and your dismissal related to the Zimbabwe matter. And this lasted about 7 years, according to your statement. You said that the prosecutor put it on record that he or she was instructed to put your case on the roll. Who gave that? Did you ask who gave the prosecutor that instruction? And if you didn't, why not?
I thought that the magistrate, because it was into the court record and that record is still there, it still exists. I thought that the magistrate would ask who gave that instruction, and the magistrate just didn't take it further.
Okay,
Just
but my question is, did you ask the prosecutor?
No, I didn't, because I was represented.
And you didn't ask your attorneys either to ask the prosecutor?
No, to me, I was excited. It's
And who was the prosecutor? Do you know? Do you remember?
No. At this point in time, I forgot the name.
Okay, would your legal team be able to access that information and give it to the
Yes.
committee? Because I think that is important, that we don't speak and we don't have names and people that we are able to follow up. Why is crime intelligence not efficiently capacitated to vet SAPS officials?
It has been always the case. It's a challenge. I don't know why, but there are so many members that needs to be vetted that have not been vetted, and it could be because of the manpower or the budget.
Yeah,
I'm
yes.
not sure.
But why is it not done? General, it can't be that, and we've been hearing this. I've just joined the police portfolio committee, and we've been hearing this issue of vetting since I've landed. And when I look back at previous annual reports, etc., it's the same thing. We don't. Why is it not being capacitated? And this falls under your division as well. It can't be that we have 7 members that are required to vet over 1,000 SAPS officials, and we expect this country and we expect SAPS to function when the very core, its foundation, is not working. Is it intentional? Is it intentional that just vetting, if you fail at just vetting, it's a problem? So make us understand, make the nation understand, how is it that you are even failing to vet 1,000 officials every 5 years?
I think crime intelligence is working very hard to recruit members. There is a process in place. They are recruiting. I may not have the statistics and the information where I'm sitting, but there is a drive to capacitate crime intelligence. This is what also the minister said, that they need to capacitate crime intelligence in such a way that they will improve even their collection and counterintelligence.
But why has it not been done? Do you not see? General, I need you to explain to us, because it can't be that the highest office of our security, like South African Police Service, cannot have capacity to vet 1,000 officials. You're telling us what is going to happen, and we've heard that many times. It's not happening. And we're having people, you are placing people in positions who do not have security clearance, and it is costing us being able to do our work efficiently in those departments. Why is it not done? Is it intentional because you want to appoint people who we know are not going to get clearance, or we weaponizing it for people who would get clearance, but we don't want them to access information? Is this what officials in SAPS are doing instead of protecting us as citizens in the country?
No, Chair, that is not the case. The employment or recruitment drive, there is a plan. Since I think in the past 2 years, there's been a drive in terms of capacitating the detectives and intelligence. I think the person who can actually better respond to that question can be the support head, the acting National Commissioner of Support, acting Deputy National Commissioner of Support, who can come and testify here in terms of the recruitment of crime intelligence officials and the numbers, because that's a separate process.
No, we have the numbers. It was just, we're just trying to understand how is it that the highest level of SAPS cannot vet? That was pretty much the question. And is it intentional or not? You haven't really answered the question. I don't think we're going to get an answer, but we'll move on. Let's talk about your employment at the city of Joburg. You testified yesterday that you were employed properly at the COJ, and your words were during daylight with everybody watching. Where did you see the ad, the advertisement for the job?
I think it was in a newspaper, Chair. I can't remember now, but.
Okay, will you be able to get that? Because I'm sure the COJ would have.
Yeah, I think they would have.
And what was the title of the position that was advertised?
It was unit head, forensic and investigation.
It was a new unit that was established.
Yes.
Was it already existing and they were looking for a position? It was new. So you'll get, your legal team will submit, or maybe our evidence leaders can also get that. Who was on the interview panel for the position? Who interviewed you?
If I remember, I know Michael Blument. I also know Christo Mare. I've been long out of the city, and some of the people.
So, but there was an interview panel.
I think there was Trevor Fowler. Yeah, there was an interview panel.
Okay. So we can also access that information, evidence leaders. I'm sure the COJ would still have that. Did you sign an offer of employment letter?
Yes.
You did. And we'll also need to get a copy of that. The letter, did it state what your salary was going to be? Do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. The appointment was approved by council.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the minutes of that council meeting?
They can be requested by this house to the council.
Yes, can we please have that? So were you in the council meeting when that happened? Or you just were told because you need to be?
You don't form part of the council
Yeah.
meeting, it happens.
But you watched it live, or you were?
No, you sit and wait and you'll hear when it happens.
Okay. Are you stating here that you were not part of the procurement of this spy equipment in any way, shape, or form? You didn't have any conversation about it. You didn't even know what it does. The department just went ahead and bought this equipment and brought it to your department.
There are no spying equipment procured.
What was procured?
It was technology meant to support the department to be able to do the work, and I don't have the list with me, but the list is there.
Was the department authorized to purchase whatever that equipment is?
Yes, because it went through the channels and it went through the budget steering committee and it was approved.
So you were part of the process, the procurement process. Obviously, it's done in a different department in the COJ, but it came through the unit that you were heading up, the request.
That's correct.
Okay, so how did you source, was Paul O'Sullivan at all involved, or any of his associates involved in you identifying this equipment and where to source it, etc.?
Paul O'Sullivan was nowhere involved, nowhere near what was happening, doesn't even know, it's not even connected to this whole thing
To which whole thing?
of this equipment that were procured.
Okay. And how did you think that what made you determine, or what analysis was done to determine that you needed this equipment? Because we got testimony that I think it was the general who said, the KZN commissioner who said, and I know you're going to say that not everything he says is true, so that's why I'm asking you that that equipment that was bought in the COJ, whether it's spy equipment or whatever, surveillance, whatever it's called, the city does not have authority to procure it. What do you say to that?
He doesn't know what he's talking about, that one.
And then the letter that was sent to the Minister of Police, Becky Cele, by the Executive Director of the City of Joburg about you. Did the Minister speak to you about the matter?
No.
Not at all.
Not
Did
at-
you know that a letter was sent to the Minister?
I think I got to hear about it. And to me, it was not really a worry because I do have investigations on the same individuals that were running. So it's a political space. And when a person writes a letter, it does not necessarily mean that he's right. He had no right to even write that letter. He had no right even now to write a letter, whether to this committee, whether it's to Madlanga or wherever. It's just people who, some of these people will follow you to the grave. Even when you left them many years ago, but you find people who just rise up and follow you. Even when you're not focusing on them, they just chase after you. So it does not necessarily mean that that letter that he wrote carries any significant role because he himself was being investigated
But you're
for crime.
deflecting now, we're talking about the contents of the letter. We're not talking about what his situation is and investigating. So if you bring it in politics, it means that you were also descended into a political space. Why would they want to deal with you politically?
Because, as I say, the city of Joburg is a political space. And then if these are the people that don't want to be investigated themselves and they start attacking you as the person who's in charge of the investigation, it's unfortunate. And I think, Honorable Member, I wish that I could also be protected from your side as well, because it shouldn't be like I'm already guilty and what they wrote about me is right.
But we're asking you, General, we're not saying that it is.
Yeah, the only problem is that these people who are sitting in their corner because they don't want to be investigated, they don't want to be vetted, and they
But
do
Leto,
this.
do you see what you're doing? You're not saying it's not true because of X, Y, and Z. You are telling us about their situation. You're saying, were you investigating them, yes or no? What they are saying is true, yes or no? I think those are the questions rather than deflecting and putting it on them. We're dealing on what they said about you. Are you saying it's not true, it was dealt with? Let's deal with that.
It's
The
not true.
contents of the letter, saying that they don't have permission or they're not qualified to write the letters, neither here or there. We're talking about whether it was, number one, done, whether you knew about it, and what your position is. So the public protector made a recommendation, who lodged the complaint, number one, to the public protector? Then speak to me who opened the case based on the public protector's recommendations, and what was the reason that the prosecutor declined to prosecute the case?
What I know, Chair, is that I investigated a matter that involved the then city manager of City of Joburg. The matter was reported by the Department of Finance and it related to a big tender of the blue light and the sirens and bullet vest. I don't have the report with me. But then what happened is that the investigation was allocated to ENS law firm that had to conduct that investigation. That investigation was conducted and the results came. These results were talking about the fact that over and above the many other role players that were there within the city at JMPD, it talks about the fact that the city manager also did not cooperate with the investigation. And they were very much worried that the city manager is not behaving in a manner the accounting officer should be behaving. So they produced a report. That report that was produced, and it's a report that I, as the head of group forensics, also had to sign and submit. He was very angry to an extent that he wrote a letter wherein he wrote this letter that says, if I can read, that says a directive in terms of section 55 subsection 1 of the MSA of 200 in respect of notice to withdraw the delegation of the head of GFIS and public communication of matters that have not been tabled before the council. The above matter refers the city manager's office is disturbed by the contents of the letter issued by yourself, where you suggest that by withdrawing from you the powers which in terms of legislation are assigned to the head of administration and accounting officer that prevented your department from performing its function. We also noted nefarious statements which you are peddled in the media that our notice of withdrawal of your delegation communicated signal to suspend you when in actual fact we are trying to protect the interest of the city. So I don't know, I can read this letter on and on, but what I wanted to say is that I went to court and the court ruled in my favor. And the powers of group forensics were given back to group forensics. In other words, the city manager working with Mesuli Mlando, when they attempted to take back the powers of this from group forensics, they said group forensics does not have the power to investigate them. And they took away their powers, and I went to court and the court ruled in my favor.
Your relationship with any of the DA or Democratic Alliance members in the COJ, they were leading government there. Did you have any, and at any time did you engage any of the leaders there who may have given you directives on investigating members?
I didn't have any relationship with anybody in the DA.
None of them? You've never had meetings, engaged any of the leaders?
No.
The mayor, any of the MMCs?
In my official capacity, I have had meetings with all of them.
Oh, you have?
In my capacity
Yes,
as...
that's what I'm saying, in your capacity, and where you could have been given directives on how to proceed with the city manager. You know, that's a very strategic position. So when new leadership come in, that's the first position that they want to take over. So I was just trying to establish if you might have gotten some political interference on pursuing that case. I'm not saying, or I'm not commenting on the city manager, whether he did right or did wrong. I'm just asking if there was any interference or push for you to deal with the city manager from the political party that was running the municipality.
So I never had any political interference at all.
Let's go to your labor court. You appealed the matter, so it wasn't the labor court that ordered you to be reinstatement, it was the appeal court that did that. Do you know why SAPS did not oppose your reinstatement?
Because there was nothing to oppose.
Is that sort of a practice there in SAPS that they would just not even show up or not withdraw the case, whether there was a case or whether there wasn't? In your experience, because you've been in the police
In my
force.
experience, normally, and which I find to be wrong, because there is law in this country, I take it that all of us, there's equality before the law, and those that are employed, those that are seniors in the workplace must really also adhere to the law. let's say for an example, we've got the generals, lieutenant generals who are out today, who've been suspended, others fired, and they went to court and they won the cases. But they are not being allowed to come back simply because the current management feels that, no, we don't want them back. Now, even when the court says they must come back, and then the management will say, no, but we don't want them. They go to court, they win, and then another one will say, but we are reviewing. I don't think it's a fair process. It's abuse of power in this situation because we all have careers, we all have children, we have families. But if you are today in a powerful position and you do what you do to fellow human beings who's got children and families as well, I think it's not a fair process. And and even this house must assist to get this right, this thing right.
Okay, you didn't really answer the question on why do you think SAPS, I guess you did answer it in a way when you said that there was no case. And my question was it common practice for SAPS just not to show up, to make representation? And you are telling us about members that have been, but I think we can park it. I can accept your response.
Can I respond to that? It's not because of it's a common practice.
Okay, then that's fine. You're saying it's not common. Do you want to explain why you're saying it's not a
Yes.
common practice?
Chair, in my case, do know that as a result of my arrest on Richard Mdluli, and then we were all removed. I was removed on a matter I was not involved in. I never participated in the illegal rendition of the Zimbabweans. I was not there. And that is why even when I went to court, the court ruled in my favor. And they refused to accept back. I went, all the courts ruled in my favor. And when I went to the labor court, because the whole idea, even now what is happening is that they say, no, fire him, fire him. You will fight from outside. You will fight from outside, but with the time you come back, you are over age already. This is how we're hating each other. But the problem is the labor court ruled in my favor, but did not reinstate me. They said I must be paid. I said, no, I don't think I can spend so much money just to come and win and not be reinstated. And then I went to the Labor Appeal Court. The Labor Appeal Court reinstated me. So I came back because I was reinstated. I was innocent.
Okay, that still wasn't the question I was asking, but understood. Let's talk about yesterday. You said in your, in your statement yesterday or your evidence, you said that Mr. Brown received the news about the disbandment of PK because we were talking about those WhatsApp messages between him and Kat Mkhwanazi through media reports. Do you have evidence of when the media first reported about the disbandment? Because it appears that the first reporting was by a SABC journalist on the 2nd of January, and their messages was on the 31st of December, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was on the 31st of December after it was released, somewhere there. I'm not sure when exactly.
Okay, but if you're going to give evidence that you felt very confident that they got that information via media reports and not through any internal processes between the minister's office and between SAPS. So you're going to have to give us where that could have been found on social media or where that report is. Because when we checked, the first thing we saw was on the 2nd of January, and it was a screenshot of the disbandment letter. So you don't have to do it right now. You can ask your attorneys to be able to support that, because that was the evidence that you gave yesterday. You also said that Brown Mkhwanazi, not Mkhwanazi, was like an informer to you. So if this was the case, are you at liberty to disclose what sort of information he would supply to you, Brown Mkhwanazi?
I did say that he informed me more of information around my the fact that he knows that there are people who are planning to really push me out of the police. This is what I said.
But he also, General Mkhwanazi also said that he said the same thing to him. So
Yes.
you didn't, so at your level, General, someone just comes and they says that and you just believe it. And you don't see that he could also just be pushing information, as you were just saying earlier about how people peddle information and plot people against each other.
I do listen, and as to what I do with it, is for me now to see how I deal with the information. But
Okay,
I
so
take
you
it
used him for your personal survival in SAPS because he seemed to have information both through government or, well, I guess, the executive and.
I didn't use him. Yes, and when he called, I listened.
Okay. Let's talk about, you said you were doing operations in Cape Town, and this was around the same time as the ANC's January 8th, 2025 celebrations. Was it something that was planned or pre-planned? That you arranged your operations in Cape Town around the period of the ANC's January 8th?
January 8th is a yearly event of the African National Congress. But as the South African Police Service, we have to be there to do our work.
Okay, so who attends? Because as the economic freedom fighters, we also have ours, and we don't have ministers, officials on that level of SAPS coming to attend any. I've never ever seen them. I'm just asking. And I think even the IFP here, so are you saying that it's a standard operation procedure that high-level officials in SAPS makes their operations, arrange operations in the hosting towns where the ANC is having their January 8th?
In all the political parties who have events,
No, you definitely don't have high level like on your level at ours, I can tell you for a fact. No, I know. I'm part of job.
No, they are. They
Okay.
are.
Maybe you must supply us with the list of who's deployed to these events.
No, when it happens, there's a clear plan from the police side on what will be happening, and they demarcate the streets on how.
I understand the job processes. I'm asking about levels. I'm asking specifically you as a general heading up a division, right? A deputy commissioner that will make themselves available to do operations in towns hosted by the ANC in particular. I understand the whole process of JOC and the police being involved. I'm not disputing that, General. I'm saying on that level.
Yes, on this level.
I'd like to know which ones have ever attended our events. Let's talk about when you were in Cape Town for the January 8th, 2025 celebrations. Did you meet the Minister of Police, chat to him informally, anything, especially since he had just written a letter disbanding the political killings task team?
On January 8th.
Around that time, not on that day in particular, but you were here celebrating, okay, let me not say you were celebrating, you were doing operations for the ANC's January 8th. The minister was here because there's evidence that even someone sponsored his trip. So did you have any communication with the minister?
The minister was not around, he didn't attend.
How do you know?
I know.
No, see the. At least there's something you're saying that you know, General. Let's move on to, so you didn't meet the minister, is that what you're saying? You didn't have any conversations with the Minister of Police during the January 8th?
He was not there.
That's not the question. Did you have around that time, even if you didn't see him physically during that period?
I've never spoken to the minister.
Okay. Let's talk about Busi Kat Mkhwanazi. He called you, you said, and he wanted to have a meeting with you. And then you agreed to the meeting. So at your level, did you not even say, hey, let me just take this guy out before I just meet with him? Like, obviously you knew as a service provider, you're saying that you didn't get involved in the procurement process and that sort of thing. This guy has 80 active cases with SAPS. You are the head of crimes detection. You just went ahead and met with him without even just doing some background checks.
I don't think it's fair, Chair, that when a person complains and comes with a lawyer and having the papers and say, I'm here to complain to the National Commissioner. This is my complaint. Then I must go out there and start running tests on the person and start running investigation on the person.
But that's
It's
what
not
you
how it
said.
works.
He called you first. He didn't just show up at your office. That's what you said. So the call that you arranged a meeting, right? So when he called and he asked to have a meeting with you, he stated why he wanted to meet with you,
Yes.
right? So you knew he was coming there for that. He didn't show up with lawyers. So you had time to just say, let me go and do some due diligence, because you could have even called him back and said, this is out of my, it's out of my payroll, or it's not in my grade. Let's wait until the National Commissioner comes back. But you made a decision to meet with him and not even check 80 cases. And you just met with him
80.
like that. Yeah. That's what the National Commissioner told us, 80 since 2007.
Oh, it's 1-8 now.
80. Am I wrong? It is 80. I asked the National Commissioner twice last week. And I even asked when he said it's dating back since 2007.
General Mkhwanazi said 1-8.
The National, okay, I guess we can just verify our evidence leaders. Can we just double check? But when I did a follow up, I remember saying whether it was 80 or 1-8. But regardless, 80 or 18, it's still a lot. So it wasn't strange for you just to do that, General?
No, because remember, Honorable Chair, when a member comes, when a person comes wanting to see you,
He called you, he didn't come and see you, didn't show up.
yeah, I don't think each and every person who comes who want to see me, I have to run test on that person.
But it's not a deep test, just to just some due diligence. You hold a very strategic position in this country. You've said yourself that people come and they influence you and they peddle wrong information. I would just think that you'd be a little bit more cautious. But if you didn't do it, that's fine. Do you want to say something before I move on?
No, I just wanted to say that it's not always easy and possible to say, I want to run tests. When a person wants to say, to check on you, it's not like in the presidency. In the presidency, if I want to meet the president will have a team that will actually check the background of the person. Who is this person? What is he about and why does he want to see you will have few people before you get there. Now, in my case, I'm expected to meet anybody who wants to meet me or who wants to meet the National Commission.
You indicated that you also made calls to him. Was this after the initial meeting or the meeting you had with him about his...
That matter, Mr. Matala? No, I never made calls to him.
At all?
No, I never made calls to him.
And did you and the minister discuss Makala and Brown?
Not even once.
Any way, shape or form?
Not even once.
Not gonna find any WhatsApp messages informally?
You will never find
including from the chief of staff?
No.
Okay, let's talk about the disbandment of PKT. Obviously, I'm not going to repeat what other honorable members have asked. Was the minister briefed about the PKTT before sending the letter officially?
Yes.
He was, because the National Commissioner's evidence says he was not briefed.
I read something here in a meeting on the 27th that I know that there was an executive meeting and there was a briefing in relation to the PKTT, and the National Commissioner in that meeting did indicate that it was not meant to be a permanent structure. It was not meant to be a permanent structure. It was meant to evolve into a murder and robbery unit.
Okay, so I'm not asking that. I'm just asking the minister. So you're saying that the National Commissioner gave wrong evidence before this commission, and maybe our evidence leaders can just check in his statement, because he said the minister did not receive a briefing from anyone officially in SAPS about the PKTT. That's why he was shocked that the decision was made. So you were saying that the minister had received it. Were you part of the meeting?
Yes.
You were. And
Yes.
you were satisfied, or you are satisfied that the minister was properly informed, not about whether it wasn't supposed to be a permanent arrangement, whether he was briefed properly about the PKTT to make an informed decision.
If an honorable member is talking about, not about that letter, then I can't say I know.
No,
that
not the
minister.
letter. I'm saying before this letter arrived, was sent on the 31st. I'm saying briefing.
The fact that there was such a discussion in college, it means it was a briefing.
I beg your pardon, say that again?
The fact that there was such a meeting that was discussed with the police executive meetings where the minister raised concerns about the PKTT.
Okay, that's a different question, different answer. I'm saying was, did the minister receive a briefing, as we get briefings of this is what the PKTT has done over the years, et cetera, et cetera. Did he get that, or was there just an overall discussion? That's what I'm asking.
I wouldn't know about that one.
Okay. Right. Did you have any discussions with the minister, with Brown or with Kat about informally, formally about the disbandment of PKTT before it happened?
It never happened.
So you didn't. Okay. Okay. So this is something that is baffling, General. On the 31st of December, in the afternoon, the minister decides he must send an email about issues that are not of national importance during the festive season. Were you not shocked when you saw this? Like, I would be like, what is he doing? So when you saw this letter on the day that you saw it, did you not think, okay, this thing is on the 31st? And he even knows that the National Commissioner is not there. Did those things not cross your mind that this just seems just highly irregular? Or is it something that's common? You've been in the police force for a long time. For the minister on New Year's Eve, the whole world is resting. He decides he wants to send a letter of something that he could have dealt with in January when offices were fully open.
I wasn't shocked, and there's nothing shocking about it.
Why?
Because the ministers, the police, they are working during that period.
There's working, right, that's dealing with the issue of festive activities. We're talking about matters of border control. One was about doing a strategy for border control. They can wait until January. How is that even urgent? Even the thing about the disbandment. Okay, give me just one example, General, of any other time in your history of being in the South African Police Service where a minister sent a letter on the 31st of January in the afternoon about something that was not of critical in national importance during that period. Just one.
What we know is that when the festive period, safer festive period is declared, policemen are no longer allowed to take leave until when it comes to an end somewhere in January. So during that period, the police are hard at work. And as the police are hard at work, they are not on leave. Now, me and you will differ in this sense. The minister is a new minister. And then him being—
He was excited.
No, don't use the word, Councillor, that he was excited.
Let's do like this.
Okay, sorry, Chair.
I don't like it when you exchange between yourselves. Because it's either you intimidate each other or you inject fear in each other. Honorable Matthys, I want to allow you to ask the last two questions because your time has been up.
Them today. relevant authorities to be processed. In relation to the Helen Suzman Foundation, I don't know what the question is intended to, because you haven't asked the question. Yes.
It was the Helen Suzman Foundation that litigated for the reinstatement of Robert McBride at IPID. Were you aware of this?
It's possible.
Yeah. And then we also know that it was the Helen Suzman Foundation who led the court challenge on the appointment of General Banning, who's the former Hawks head, that eventually resulted in his removal. And this was soon after he dismissed you from the Hawks. So at any stage, did you have a conversation with any representatives or people associated with the Helen Suzman Foundation about the struggles you were going through at SAPS?
I think, I don't know whether it was Freedom Under Law that it's Freedom Under Law that I went to see. Helen Suzman Foundation, I don't remember meeting with them. In their case, they were just worried that the man has been found guilty or there is serious allegations against him and yet he's waking. They said, no, he must actually be suspended because he's been found guilty or the court has declared that he's a dishonorable person who lacks honor and integrity. He must go stay at home. So it is based on those.
Okay, so there was no link to the fact that he had just dismissed you. So there was no link to the fact that he had just dismissed you, that the Helen Suzman Foundation.
No, there was a
Thank
link
you to it.
because, I mean, remember, everybody knew that he was actually doing it unfairly so, and he didn't follow the procedure. He was fighting for Richard Mluli, and that is why he was fired.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
so much, Honorable Matthys. Honorable members, when we come back, we are taking Honorable Mnwango, Honorable Sols, Honorable Vessels, Honorable James, and the last speaker will be Honorable Sangon. And then we'll take a comfort break. So now we are breaking for 15 minutes. We are coming back at 17:30. Yeah.
What kind of thing is this one? Eh? What kind of thing is this one that I will cook and then
Commissioner. If you come up with something like that, that says, I don't think this thing is still needed anymore, let's change direction, let's take this other direction. It happened before many times, even Minister Taylor's time, it happened before many times. So it happens. And there's nothing wrong actually in what is happening, in a sense that it is usual. There's nothing unusual for a minister to write his concerns or say his concerns about a particular matter. I've seen in instances where there's deployment and you find that they deployed 50 instead of 200. And then the minister will say, not necessarily this one, he will say, no, I don't think this number is enough. I don't think this number is enough to be able to attend to the type of crime that is happening there. We need more members there. And then remember, it is the minister's space, as the Minister of Police and appointed in that space, the high level of crimes, it is now on his shoulders as to how he reduces the number, because he also wants to be successful and also to make sure that crime drops in the respective areas. So ministers are hands-on. And as they are hands-on, they do speak to the DGs and they tell what must happen.
But General, ministers are not police. They're not trained as police. They are politicians, and I would have a problem with a minister who is hands-on when he has no knowledge of policing. Because then what it would be then the role of the National Commissioner.
But you also
divisional what? Commanders and all of those people.
But you also get a situation where the community or the public or the media, they begin to ask questions, say, but where's the minister? That one is dead. It's not there. It's nowhere to be seen. It's missing in action. But when you become hands-on again and you get seen again, you also get accused that you are too much. You are interfering. So I don't know how they're managing it, but from where I'm sitting, I don't think I'm the one who should be really engaged into such type of discussion since I'm not the minister.
I'm asking that because Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi was very strong on saying that the minister actually overstepped his authority. He had no right to actually dissolve the PKTT because it's an operational matter. And the National Commissioner also strongly believes that the minister actually overstepped the mark of his authority to dissolve the PKTT because he is the one who actually established that because it's an operational matter.
I don't agree with that.
Okay. Now, looking at the letter of the 31st December, like the Honorable Member Matthias of the EFF, the 31st of December is the eve of the new year. I suppose offices by 12 o'clock are almost empty. I understand that the police are actually working. The lower ranks of the police are on the roads, but in Pretoria, I can bet you my dollar I won't find any of you at head office at 12 o'clock on the New Year's Eve. But here is the minister at 1740. He sends an email disbanding the PKTT. Now, Honorable Mkhwanazi, not Honorable, yes, General Mkhwanazi and the National Commissioner, in particular, General Mkhwanazi feels that no, Somebody wrote the letter for the minister, and the minister signed something that he did not understand. What is your take on that?
I still believe that General Mkhwanazi he sees things.
Sorry.
He sees things because some of us from the 24th of January of December, we were operating already down there in Western Cape. We came, I came round about my last roadblock was in Harrismith on the 30th in the afternoon. We were not there, and the minister was already I think at home in KZN. Me, I was operating on the street. I never actually got to get involved in this thing. So if the General Mkhwanazi believed that somebody wrote that letter for the minister, it means he believed that the minister has got no capacity to can write that letter himself, which I find unbelievable.
True, I also found it unbelievable when I first heard it, because I know Honorable Minister Mkhunu. We almost grew up together out there, and I know his capabilities. And until I saw a letter from Mary Tehas, because the Mary Tehas letter, if I may just read one, the first paragraph actually indicated is 1.1. She says, in this regard, I request that you, that is Mary Tehas saying to the minister, 1, instruct the National Commissioner of SAPS to immediately disband the irregularly constituted, unnecessary, and wasteful political killings task team. The National Commissioner must immediately stop the deployment of General Khumalo, who heads the CIS. Now, even the terminology used in this letter is almost the same terminology that you would find in the letter written disbanding the PKTT. What would be your take in that?
I think the minister will be invited to come and defend this type of statements.
No, that's fine. I will ask him. Thank you. And then you saw this letter on General Sibiya on the 3rd of January, when Brigadier or General Mtoko, yes, came to your office with that letter, with that, is it a directive or something, to say that this PKTT must be disbanded with immediate effect. And the commissioner was not there. The national commissioner was on leave. I didn't hear you actually saying that upon receipt of this letter, you actually made any effort to contact the acting national commissioner, in this instance, Lieutenant General Musikili. Why was that?
Because once you are, the National Commissioner is on leave and you are appointed as the acting National Commissioner, that document was circulated or sent to the National Commissioner on the 31st of December, but it was only sent to me on the 3rd of January. And the National Commissioner says it in his own statement that the National Commissioner said in his statement that he signed, he says in his statement that he directed Brigadier Letoko to write an email to us and tell us that we must act and prepare a report. So it says, I'm looking for that letter where the National Commissioner himself said, I directed Brigadier Letoko to write this letter to the Deputy National Commissioners to prepare reports. So which means the National Commissioner already places himself in action, in his own words, in his own statement that I read earlier.
Thank you. Well, in fact, I did say that the National Commissioner felt that he should have been the one to dissolve that. In fact, it's in his evidence in chief, paragraph 44, where he said the disbandment of the PKTT was an operational policing decision, and as such, should have been made by the National Commissioner. And I'm quoting directly from his statement. Now, on the 14th then of January, General Sibiya walked into the office of the National Commissioner. That was the day when he was actually back from, was resuming his duties after a 2 weeks leave. And then you walked in, General Sibiya, with a proposal to immediately and summarily actually disband PKTT. You already had a plan of how to go about implementing the minister's directive.
I still refer back to the National Commissioner in paragraph 45 of the National Commissioner statement under oath to this committee. He confirmed that he did instruct. Let us refer to page which one is the page correct? Please turn over. I'm looking for the statement, Chair, that I read earlier where the National Commissioner said he did instruct Brigadier Letoko to write that statement. Had he not done so, he would have been accused of insubordination. So he did that because he otherwise, had he not done it, it was going to be regarded as insubordination. So, as far as I'm concerned, the National Commissioner acted within his rights, and even the judge asked him and say, even if it was a unlawful instruction, were you going to carry it out? And I said, no, if it's not a lawful instruction, I won't carry it out. But whatever that happened because the National Commissioner was in support.
And on the 15th again, 15th of January 2025, General Sibiya visited my office, and that is the National Commissioner saying this, and found me with Major General Sibula.
Yes.
And you actually briefed him on the revised plan because he was not happy with the original one. And he told you that, no. Disbanding the PKTT cannot be an abrupt thing because of reasons. And then he gave those reasons. But then you came back the following day with the plan. And then he actually specifically, instructed you to leave the matter to him. Hence, in your bundle, there is that letter, which ought to have been signed by him, but he did not sign it. And then Lieutenant General Sibiya left the office, and on the 17th, he wrote a letter, a directive, a letter carrying a directive to Lieutenant General Khumalo to implement with immediate effect the minister's directive. And that to me was defiance, because the National Commissioner had actually in no uncertain terms told you to leave the matter in his hands. But on the 17th, the Lieutenant General Sibiya leaves the office and then starts issuing an instruction to Lieutenant General Khumalo to continue implementing the minister's directive. And I want to believe that was defiance. That is why I opened this discussion asking you about how the hierarchical stratification is actually arranged in the police and how instructions actually are made. And then you correctly said that. Now, here is an instruction from the highest of the police to leave the matter in his hands, and then you go out and do something differently.
Let's say for a moment, Chair, that was the case, of which it was not the case, but let's say for a moment, let us agree that was the case. The National Commissioner says, I came on the 15th and I found him sitting with General Sebola in his office. That is on the 15th. Now, General Sebola is part of the discussion and she can hear the discussion. How then does it happen that General Sebola, the same General Sebola was sitting with the National Commissioner, send a document to me on the 16th, having heard what the National Commissioner said? On the 16th, she sent me a document and she go to my PA and say, I'm sending you a document, just print it and give it to the general for signature. And this document is the document that comes from the National Commissioner's office, compiled by the Office of the National Commissioner, General Rabi, sent to me by the Office of the National Commissioner and by the highest authority in the National Commissioner's office, which is General Sebola, to my office. If that is the case, that what the National Commissioner was saying, or he said, that stop, don't do anything further, I will handle the matter forward myself in the presence of General Sebola. Then how does it happen that General Sebola sent me an email and attached the documents and say, let the general sign this and send?
Well, it's something that would need to be resolved at your level. But here is the National Commissioner saying what he's saying under oath here. And let me continue that on the 16th of January, there was a meeting between the minister, the National Commissioner, and Lieutenant General Khumalo was there.
Sorry, Chair. I have a question that I want to ask. I know I'm here to answer, but there's a point that I need to clarify.
Okay.
The honorable member says, here is the National Commissioner saying under oath that, and I put a document that demonstrated that, but the National Commissioner sent through the Office of Sebola to my office. So we are sitting with two documents. This one comes from the National Commissioner's people. And here he's saying under oath that this is what he said, which is disproved by what I also sit with. Now, it needs to be clear that either what the National Commissioner said in his affidavit is not true, or I'm not telling the truth about this email. But I'm putting a position that says, despite the fact that the National Commissioner in his affidavit is saying, he told me to stop, but if he told me to stop, did General Sibiya then act on his own accord by coming to my office and say, please print and give to the DNC to sign and send? So it's a problem there because it shows that either myself or the National Commissioner, one of us is not being truthful. Thank you very much, Chair.
Well, thank you. I was on this meeting on the 16th of January, 2025, between the National Commissioner and the Minister. In attendance was also Lieutenant General Khumalo, who was actually asked to provide the Minister with a comprehensive update, as well as an overview of the ongoing counterintelligence investigations. So they gave a report to the Minister, and in the report, there was a list of people, in particular senior SAPS officers associated with the criminal activity. And on the list that they provided to the Minister was the name of Lieutenant General Sibiya. Are you aware of that? Have you seen that report?
I haven't seen the report, but I heard about it.
Why would they list Lieutenant General Sibiya, include your name on the list of, personalities or senior subs officers who are actually associated with the criminal activity? Why would they do that?
Well, that is something that I'm also still waiting because, I mean, when was that? And the whole year passed by with that list in their possession and not acting on it.
Now, Lieutenant General Sibiya, do you actually believe, honestly, that PKTT had done a good job in resolving some of the intractable cases of political killings, particularly in KwaZulu-Natal?
I did indicate that I agree, Chair.
Okay. So therefore, the minister's assertion that it actually has outlived its usefulness and is no longer adding any value may not be entirely accurate.
Not necessarily that it may not be accurate. The fact that it has done it in KZN, and they themselves, they presented that they have achieved the purpose for which they have been established for, and that now most of the districts have stabilized, only at eThekwini district. It qualifies the statement that these people no longer really are that active anymore.
Okay, thank you. There was a function or a meeting in Cape Town attended by the minister. I can't remember whether it was the then minister, Cele, and General Mkhwanazi was there, if I'm not mistaken, the National Commissioner, and yourself. And, oh yeah, it was Minister Cele. Minister Cele actually wanted he asked you about the people who had actually been arrested for the murder of AKA. And he was concerned that he was not too sure whether the people arrested were the correct people, the right people who actually had in fact committed that crime. And then he wanted a briefing in that effect. And then you quickly actually, embarked on organizing that briefing. You found someone in the province of KwaZulu-Natal police headquarters. And I believe it was General Mkhwanazi. Now, I can't understand why